If she's slipping from your life, this is how you make her come back. Not with noise, not with chasing, not with over-explaining or trying to prove your worth, but by becoming the kind of man whose presence speaks louder than any words you could say. Because real confidence, the kind that women feel deep in their chest, the kind that makes people gravitate toward you, without even knowing why, has always been quiet. Most men misunderstand confidence. They think it's about volume, dominance over talking, showing off, or bragging about who they are. But that kind of confidence is fragile. It's built like cheap glass, shiny on the surface, but one hit and it shatters. Real confidence is built like stone. It doesn't need to yell, it doesn't need to convince. It doesn't need to ask for permission. It simply exists, and here's the thing. Women don't fall for noise. They fall for stability, they fall for certainty. They fall for the man who doesn't flinch when the world tries to shake him. The man who moves at his own pace. Who doesn't rush, who doesn't panic. Who doesn't chase the man. Who knows that his value doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. That is quiet confidence. That is the energy that brings her back when she's drifting away. There's a biological reason for this. When you're calm, when you're grounded, when you're not overthinking the situation, your body produces less cortisol, the stress hormone, and maintains higher levels of testosterone, which naturally signals leadership, stability, and strength. You become someone who doesn't crumble when things get uncertain, someone who doesn't break when he's emotionally tested, someone who doesn't react out of fear. And nothing is more attractive to a woman than a man who doesn't lose himself, no matter what. When you're loud, when you're desperate, when you're trying too hard, your energy screams insecurity. But when you move quietly, confidently, intentionally, your presence sends a different message. I don't need to prove myself. I know who I am, that's why chasing never works. When she pulls away and you run after her, you reinforce the idea that she is the prize, and you are the one trying to qualify for her attention. But when you stay calm, when you stay composed, when you keep living your life instead of losing yourself in hers, you flip the dynamic. You return to being the man she was originally drawn to, the man who has direction, the man who has purpose, the man whose silence speaks for him. Quiet confidence starts with the simple things. One of the first habits is not responding immediately. Not because you're playing games, but because you're not controlled by the ding of a notification. A man with purpose doesn't jump at every message. He responds when it aligns with his rhythm, not when fear tells him to. Quiet confidence answers from stability, not urgency. Another part of quiet confidence is having a life of your own, one that's real, not manufactured, a life that's actually full. A routine, goals, passions, discipline, solitude, the gym, your work, your mission. When your life is rich, you don't cling to anyone. And when you don't cling, people are naturally drawn to you. Because nothing is more suffocating than someone who makes you their whole world. And nothing is more intriguing than someone who chooses you, but doesn't depend on you to function. Quiet confidence also means being emotionally unavailable in a healthy, powerful way, not cold, not distant, not dismissive, just uncheckable. You don't fall apart when someone pulls away. You don't panic when something goes wrong. You don't overreact to emotional tests or pressure. You breathe, you observe. You stay grounded. Women test men, not because they want drama, but because they need to know your emotional foundation is solid. And when you pass those tests with calmness instead of chaos, their attraction skyrockets. Another key is this: show, don't tell. Insecure men talk too much about their changes, their goals, their mindset. Their confident men simply live it. They don't announce their growth. They embody it, they don't say, "I'm working on myself," they work. They don't say, "I'm confident now." They move with quiet certainty. And women notice, everyone notices. You don't need to point it out. People feel it. Quiet confidence also shows up in how much you say. Men who talk too much, who overshare, who explain every emotion and thought. They reveal insecurity without realizing it. Confident men speak less and mean more. Every sentence carries weight. Every silence carries intention. And silence so. Silence is one of the strongest tools a man can have. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. They rush to fill it because they're afraid of what it reveals. But a confident man is not scared of silence. He sits in it because he knows who he is. And when you're comfortable with silence, you create an invisible pull. People lean and they wonder what you're thinking. They feel compelled to understand you. Quiet confidence makes you the center of gravity without trying. Let me tell you a real story. A man named Mike, good man. Smart, hard-working, genuinely kind, but when he met a woman he really liked, he forgot who he was. He became loud, overeager, too available. He wanted her to feel how much he cared. So he pushed harder, texted too fast, explained too much, shared too much, complimented too much, tried too hard to prove he was serious. But every time he did that, she pulled away a little more. Not because she didn't like him, but because he overwhelmed her. She felt pressure where she wanted calm. She felt noise where she wanted stability. And eventually she started drifting. But something changed. Mike realized that chasing her was just broadcasting insecurity. So he decided to stop talking and start living. He went quiet, not cold, just centered. He returned to his routine, his workouts, his peace. He stopped checking her social media. He stopped trying to impress her. He stopped texting paragraphs and started sending simple, grounded responses. He listened more, spoke less, and he didn't panic. When she took her space 2 weeks later, everything shifted. She reached out more. She asked how he was doing. She noticed his calmness. She asked to see him. She told him he seemed different. But really, he wasn't different. He was finally himself, the quiet, confident version of himself that she was drawn to in the beginning. Quiet confidence pulls people back without you lifting a finger, because it creates polarity, it creates gravity, it creates curiosity. Noise pushes people away, calmness draws them in. And the truth is, real confidence has no need to declare itself. A lion doesn't roar to prove he's strong. He roars to announce his presence. But when he's silent, when he's watching, when he's standing tall, that's when he's most dangerous. That's when everything around him pays attention. Quiet confidence is knowing your value without forcing anyone else to acknowledge it. It's moving through the world with self-respect. It's choosing yourself even when someone else isn't choosing you. It's keeping your emotional center, even when the situation is uncertain. It's leading your life even when people don't follow. And here's the most important truth. Only when you become the uncheckable version of yourself does she become unable to resist you. Women do not stay with the loudest man, they stay with the calmest, the most grounded, the most consistent, the one whose presence makes them feel safe, secure, emotionally balanced, and respected. So, if you truly want her back, if you truly want to attract someone who matches your value, if you want to be a man worth following, then stop making noise. Stop trying to prove anything. Stop chasing, build yourself. Silence your fear, move with intention. Speak with purpose, live with direction. Quiet confidence is not about doing more. It's about becoming more stable, more grounded, more intentional, more self-assured. And if you're ready to step into that version of yourself, ready to become the type of man who naturally commands respect, without raising his voice, Ready to stop chasing and start leading? Then I want you to do one thing. Scroll down and comment Ewan. R-E-S-I-S-T-A-B-L-E. Not for me, for yourself. As a declaration that from today forward, you choose quiet confidence over loud insecurity. You choose leadership over chasing. You choose strength over fear. Because real confidence, the kind that changes your life, has always been quiet.